Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to Diplomat's Desk. I am your host Meet Shah. Today we are talking about something every Indian must understand with absolute clarity, which is Arunachal Pradesh was, is, and will always remain India. Not because we say so, not because China denies it, but because history, culture, law, the people, and pure logic all points in one direction. Arunachal Pradesh is Indian territory, and India's identity is deeply rooted in it. And today we are breaking it down with facts, analysis, and the narrative China does not want the world to hear. Recently, a shocking incident in Shanghai brought this issue back into a spotlight when an Indian citizen from Arunachal Pradesh was detained and harassed simply because she is from Arunachal. But this incident is a symptom of a much larger story, a story of history, invasion, culture, identity, and truth. So let's begin. Pema Wongjong Thongduk, an Indian citizen, was traveling from the UK to Japan. She had a layover in Shanghai, but instead of a routine transit, she faced 18 hours of harassment, passport questioning, pressure to buy a new ticket, and the claim that her Indian passport is invalid because Arunachal is part of China. Let's be very blunt. This was not immigration, this was intimidation. China's own laws allow 24-hour visa-free transit. She violated nothing. Her passport is internationally valid. This was China's political insecurity on full display. But to understand why China behaves like this, we need to understand a deeper story. The facts they hide. For thousands of years, India's northern border was with Tibet, not China. Before 1951, Tibet was a distinct political and cultural region. Tibet signed treaties, Tibet had its own currency, Tibet had its own army, Tibet maintained foreign relations. China had zero physical border with India for millennia. Everything changed only after China invaded and occupied Tibet in 1951, killing or displacing hundreds of thousands of Tibetans. Only after occupying Tibet did not China suddenly discover a border dispute with India. So let's ask a logical question. How can a border dispute emerge only after an invasion? Because this dispute is not historic, it's a product of expansionism. In 1914, at Simla Convention, the boundary between British India and Tibet was negotiated and defined. This line is called the McMahon Line. Key facts were: Tibet signed the agreement, China attended the conference but refused to sign. China's refusal came because they did not control Tibet. Tibet's government had full authority to sign at that time. Therefore, in international law, the India-Tibet boundary defined in 1914 is valid. When India became independent in 1947, we inherited this border just like every modern country inherited colonial era borders. The world recognizes this. China's claim came decades later, only after militarily annexing Tibet. So let's look at China's pattern globally. China claims Taiwan, claims almost all of the South China Sea, claims Japanese island, claims Bhutanese territory, claims Vietnamese and Filipino waters, renames foreign villages, publishes new maps every few years. Arunachal Pradesh is part of this same expansionist template. At first, China claimed only Tawang. Then it expanded the claim to the whole of Arunachal Pradesh. This is not history, this is ambition. Let's step away from geopolitics for a moment. Arunachal Pradesh is not just a border, it's a sacred land rich in culture, faith, and Indian heritage. The people of Arunachal are Indian to their core. Tribes like Monpa, Niushi, Adi, Apatani, Mishmi have cultural connections stretching into India's history. Their festivals like Losar, Mopin, Solung, Nyokum all have Indian civilizational roots. China has zero cultural footprint in these regions, no language, no shared history, no traditions. Arunachal's culture is Indian, its heart is Indian, its soul is Indian. So, in 1959, after China's brutal crackdown in Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama fled for his life. Where did he find refuge? In India. His route: Tawang, Bomdila, Tezpur. Local Arunachal people protected him, fed him, guided him. This alone shows the cultural bond between India, Tibet, and Arunachal. The Dalai Lama has said many times, India is Tibet's spiritual home. China hates this truth, but it cannot erase it. So, Tibetans see India as a land of freedom, while Tibet lives under surveillance, religious restrictions, and political control. Arunachal lives under freedom, festivals, democracy, identity, and dignity as Indian citizens. Arunachal knows the tragic fate of Tibet, and this is why no Arunachali has ever asked to join China, not once in history. Arunachal is home to Tawang Monastery, Parashurama Kund, Malinithan Temple. China has destroyed thousands of monasteries in Tibet. India preserves every sites with pride. This is the emotional difference. So, fact 1. Before 1950, Chinese maps did not show Arunachal as China. This alone exposes the false narrative. Fact 2. China is renaming Indian villages to manufacture history. Internationally recognized Indian territory is being given artificial Chinese names. Fact 3. China has tried to block Indian athletes from Arunachal issuing stapled visas. This is harassment, not diplomacy. Fact 4. China objects to Indian leaders visiting Arunachal, but India has every right because it is our land. So let's discuss the claim. If Arunachal is South Tibet, then Tibet must separate from China. China cannot use Tibetan identity to claim land while denying Tibet's autonomy. Borders drawn with Tibet cannot be disputed by a nation that did not rule Tibet. The people of Arunachal are Indian by identity, culture, language, and choice. Their democratic voice matters more than China's claims. China only made this claim after annexing Tibet, which shows the opportunism. International law supports India. No major country recognizes China's claim. China's case is weak, India's case is ironclad. China's strategy is psychological warfare, intimidate Arunachalis, caution passports, rename villages, protest Dalai Lama visits, publish new maps. But India's response is strong and united. Our message is simple. Arunachal Pradesh is an inalienable part of India, every inch of it, village, valley, or peak. India's army stands guard, India's people stands united, India's culture flows through this land. Here is the line that captures the essence. Arunachal Pradesh is not just on India's map, it is in India's heart. Its mountains carry the prayers of monasteries. Its rivers carry the history of India's civilization. Its people carry the tricolor with pride. China can draw hundreds of fake maps, they can rename our villages, they can harass our citizens, but they cannot rewrite one simple truth. Arunachal Pradesh is India, by history, by culture, by identity, and by the will of its people. So, friends, understanding the truth is our first defense. Arunachal Pradesh is not a dispute. It is not a gray zone. It is not a negotiation point. It is India. It has always been India and it will always remain India. If you found this video informative, like it, share it, and spread awareness and help India's voice reach every corner. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.